It's been a wild month, easily my best month, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened and what I'm going to be doing moving forward. And this is basically just a documentation of my journey, and it's not financial or religious advice. So what happened? Well, if we look back at the beginning of April, or let's just say the beginning of May, I should say, we were at 11 grand, 356 pounds up, all the way to 15.5 grand with 2.2k of unrealized results. So it's been crazy if you've been following what I've been doing, up and down, up and down, up and down, and June's been incredible, a 16% return. And if you look at the investments, emerging markets has done the best. And if we take a look at it more specifically, it's the HSBC one, and then the iShares one. And then we've got Europe and Japan. Europe is up 6% and Japan is up 9%. And then if you look at the metals, it continues to be down, which is whatever. And then we've got USA, which I literally just created this on Friday after the markets opened up. And two things here: AMD, this was up 150% until I invested in it in Friday. So naturally, my percentage went down because I invested at a high, which I guess I notoriously do. I wish I had invested more money into this. I had intended to buy this, so it wasn't that I was hesitating. I just put it off. It just exploded, of course it did. But regardless, I'm up anyways. Now you're going to notice these software stocks. One thing I don't understand is why is Adobe here and then Adobe here. I don't understand. But regardless, I've also added a Salesforce in there, a ServiceNow, and this is basically going to be my USA portfolio. And what's happening here is software stocks are down a lot. So we look over a year, 3 months, it looks a bit better. If we look at Salesforce, 3 months, it's gone a bit higher now. But overall, if we look at a year, it's just down. And here's the thing: I think these stocks, in my opinion, are heavily underrated, because I'm someone who plays a lot with, or tries a lot of software, tries to build his own, and it's not that simple, even if you have a team of specialists with you, because just because you build a software doesn't mean your team is going to maintain it or be able to innovate. Whereas these companies are far more incentivized to innovate with their products. So I don't see these companies being replaced. I think within a couple of years we should see it bounce back. So we are at a low for this. I think it's a great opportunity. Of course, it's not financial advice. This is what I'm doing. I created this on Friday, so when the market's closed, but they open up tomorrow, so I will be putting some money into a Salesforce service. Now I think SaaS is really good, and then they've got this new feature here, auto invest. So I'm investing 2.2k per month. So emerging markets, £35 daily, Europe and Japan at £25 daily, metals £5 daily, and USA I'll be doing about £50 weekly. I'll put in a lump sum tomorrow and then leave it to a pound cost average. And that's what happened during May. It was very boring. So if we look at the history, if we look at all of it, I bought a lump sum of Adobe. Well, not a lump sum here, it says a pound here for some reason, I don't know why. But regardless, I've been buying every day. HSBC every day, iShares every day, these every day. Just pound cost averaging. Nothing crazy, pretty boring, which I prefer it to be. I don't want to be constantly checking it and things like that. So it's nothing crazy going on. The only thing that's changed is I've added the software stocks in there and basically named it as USA. I think this is a really good investment in my opinion. And if you don't know, I started this portfolio literally in the middle of January. 14th of Jan I started this, put in £30, and as you can see it was going up. I thought, oh, that's great. And then of course it drops 15%, and then it just stayed like that for a couple of months. Again, another drop, but it's only this month that's been really positive. And if you look at the overall account value, I am at 22k.2 because I put 20k in. I still have money I can put into my ISA, 20k allowance left. I have 6 grand left in terms of cash. I don't want to be putting in any more cash yet, just because I have some taxes to pay and some other stuff I want to do, so I'm not sure. So I should have money left over by the end of the year, but I won't be putting in cash anytime soon. So probably August time I'll probably end up topping it up, or maybe a little bit sooner, because I'll be putting up some lump sums in, and I'm going to try really hard to max out the ISA again this year. I wish someone had told me about investing something like this sooner, because I thought it was really complicated, and I'm basically the only channel on YouTube that started their investing journey from scratch from an Islamic perspective. So if you're into that, if you're into investing, doing it in an Islamic way, then I'd highly recommend you subscribe. And basically I'm just updating you on what happens, and at the start I think it was more exciting, but right now it's a bit boring, and that's how I like it. There's nothing crazy going on in terms of my individual stocks. I'm not exactly checking too much what they're doing. I just trust that they're naturally just going to go up and down, because people are very unsure about, are AI going to replace these? I very much doubt it, because if you look at Adobe, I think it's the only software company that's been around since the 90s, with the exception of Microsoft. Salesforce, I don't see it going anywhere. I've heard a bit more about ServiceNow. I was watching different videos and I thought, you know what, I'll just throw some money in there as well. So I don't know the insides and outs of these businesses, but what I do know is they are very good at cash flow. They make billions every quarter, and they have billions in the bank, from my understanding. Do your own research. So that's why I'm confident that these will do well in the next couple of years. People have finally realized that actually these are really good companies, and as you can see here, it's bouncing up. And look at the 3 months, it's at a 3-month high, 20%. That's not bad, that's pretty solid. But regardless, it's down over the year. So I'm definitely going to be throwing more and more money into it, and I think when it bounces back, these will probably be at all-time highs again. So I am definitely looking forward to that. So this is 438, and it's currently valued at basically half of it. And I just find it really interesting to see that I've put in about 12 grand, no, about 13 grand, and I've got out 2 grand. For a lot of people, that's their month's wages, and I've been investing for about 5 months now, which isn't bad. It's not a long time in terms of investment. Yeah, I was able to get a 16% return, and on average the stock market does do 7%, so it's been on an absolute boom recently, and it's going to be interesting seeing what June holds. I'll see you in the next video.